raccoon on
That's terrifying.
a high floor of my apartment that you have to have a key to even get into. I'm like, how in the world did this thing get up here? So instantly I move the Yeti over in front of me, and I'm like, oh my God, because it starts running at me.
They're ferocious.
So I'm like,
they're scary.
well, and you never know, they could easily be rabid. So it's me.
Yeah, that's the scariest
cooler,
part about him.
And a possibly rabid raccoon coming directly at me.
Well,
and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I throw the cooler kind of in front of me to try and scare it, and then I take off running. It luckily goes the opposite direction, but that was terrifying.
Well, that's the scariest thing about raccoons and possums is that they could be rabid, and I don't know much about rabies, but I do know that there is not much of a cure for it.
No.
The disease, like
other than
it
Michael
will kill
Scott's
you.
5K fun run.
Correct.
Cure for the rabies.
You don't
Run
want
for
it.
the cure. It's right. Yeah, you don't want it. But the other scary part is that if they start running at you, there's an issue.
Yes.
Because those animals typically are scared of
Scurry.
humans, and yes, they get out of your way. If they start running at you, there's a pretty good chance that they might have rabies. So that's a little terrifying. I'm
It
not
was
gonna lie.
terrifying. Like I said, I grew up in the country. I've seen plenty of raccoons. I've seen plenty of possums, snake. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Coyotes, you know, bobcats, whatever. We've seen it all out there. But yeah, usually you look at it, it gets scared, and it runs the other way.
Right.
Well, it was kind of caught between a corner, and I'm caught between a corner, and I'm like, we're about to have a standoff right here against this massive raccoon. City raccoons are different, I guess. Like, I guess because they have so much
They
more
truly are.
trash to go eat and all that stuff.
They're super smart, too. They can talk. Uncle Buck, second week in a row. Uncle Buck reference. 2 weeks running.
Okay.
Or is this your new bid?
Oh, dang it. It wasn't Uncle Buck. It was the great outdoors that the raccoon's talking.
Boo!
I blew it.
Anyway, I then ended up calling like the off-hour like security people at the apartment complex to like let them know like, hey, you've got this potentially rabid raccoon running around on a very high floor of an apartment complex. Maybe you should kind of get that figured out. I made it out unscathed. Me 1, raccoon 0, so it was good. But
So
man,
it didn't really it didn't charge after. You didn't have to
it
get
did.
mobile.
It kind of got up to my cooler, and then I kind of did this, and then it went away. So it charged.
Luckily, you didn't have to throw out any of Trisha's homemade food.
Correct. I would have been so mad if it 1 tried to attack me and 2 ruined the sloppy joe she sent me back up with. So made it out unscathed, but not what you're expecting on a high floor of an apartment at 10:30 at
No,
night.
how did it even get up there?
I literally have no idea.
I mean,
really genuinely don't know.
It must have climbed the stairs, or it could have jumped from the tree. Do you have a tree that's near a opening by the elevator? Because
No.
Well, maybe on the other side of the was it crawling through? I don't know. It must
No
have
idea.
maybe slipped in while somebody was walking through
Yeah,
the gate.
my only thing, because
That's
even
terrifying.
like there's a stairs and there's elevators, and the stairs are also the same thing. You have to have a key fob. So the only thing that might have happened was someone left the door to the stairs open and it came up there. But man, ever since then I've like cautiously looked around the corner before approaching it.
Yeah, I would too. That's terrifying.
Safety first.
Safety
I'm glad.
first.
Well, I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you
Thanks.
are not rabid. Well, you could be.
I could be. You don't know. Jury's still out on that. With that being said, hit the theme expo.
Hit the arrow sign.
Yes, y'all, from the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name is Ashley Pickle. I'm the executive producer of Dave Campbell's Texan Live and Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine that we just sent to press, along with a corresponding website at texasfootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com on Facebook, YouTube, possibly Twitter, definitely not Twitch, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there, fighting with the internet, is our associate producer, Miss Mallory Hartley. Hello.
Hello. I love fighting with the internet. It's one of my favorite things to do. It really is.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else I'd rather do than fight with the internet.
Makes me feel stress-free.
Correct. Like chilling on a beach. Someone who is always stress-free.
Sure.
As he laughs.
Sure.
Is our director of recruiting, Grev Powers. Hi, Grev.
What's up, y'all?
Not much.
Hanging out, being
Fighting with the internet.
stress-free.
Are y'all ready to talk some football today? Some Crootin?
Yeah, it is called Texas Football Today, so that's what we do here.
And it's this week in Crootin.
Crootin. We will get to that. This is today is Wednesday, May 31st. It's all week has been thrown off with the whole not going to work on a Monday thing. I don't know what day it is, but apparently, according to my calendar, it is Wednesday, May 31st. 176 days until Thanksgiving, May 31st, the birthday of Waka Flocka Flame.
Let's go!
How-
I've seen him in person. I was this close to him in person.
Oh yeah, because he played at UNT.
He sure did.
That
was
rules.
Freaking awesome.
How old do you think Waka Flocka Flame is?
38.
Mal?
36.
How about that, Mr. Waka Flocka? Splitting the difference. He is turning 37 today.
There you go, Mal.
That's good. That's
Y'all
good.
can-
We split,
y'all
the
split
difference.
closest
If
to
it
the
was
pin.
the Price is Right, she wins.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how that works?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you closest under. You can't go over.
Oh, let's go. Waka Flocka
I
expert.
mean, you took too much happiness there in my defeat. I was trying
You're like,
to
down goes Greb.
I was trying to say that we were both winners.
There's only one winner and there's only
Okay.
one loser.
All right.
You
Fair.
get nothing. Today is episode 1602. On today's episode, my friends, Greb joins us for This Week in Crootin, and then in the back half of the show, hear Powers conversation from the Justin Northwest 7-on-7 SQT last week, and Byron Nelson, defensive back David Kabongo, which is just an exceptional last name.
It truly
Yeah,
is.
He's a good player, too.
So excited to hear that. Before we get into it, Malpal, do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was, well, I guess we only have two unless my computer's behind. Aaron Arbuckle and Nick Morton. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. All right. This is always fun for me when I get to do this, so you got to make it a good one here.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Gonna wait till Mal switches it over to C Powers.
Oh, I
There
thought
we
I
go.
thought we were supposed to.
I'm Ashley Pickle. That's Greg Powers, and this is This Week.
And Crootin.
Yes! That's a good one.
I got my throat.
Let's go. It is This Week in Recruiting with our director of recruiting, Greg Powers. And of course, this is presented by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express.
Delicious chicken friends. They're so good.
Mal, we had Chicken Express. I told them last week that we had Chicken Express the Friday before last and that it was outstanding. We watched Gossip Girl and ate Chicken Express.
Yeah, I had so I had half and half tendies, half spicy, half regular. I got some fries. I don't typically get the fries because their fried okra is so good, but sometimes I do get their fries because they're just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the taste of them is just unlike any other fast food restaurant that I've been to. And then I got the biscuit because I'm a big biscuit gal. So it was so
I
good.
disagree with
Team
you on
Man,
that.
Rolls,
I really
whatever.
want Chicken Express.
Whatever.
We've turned Tepper, so I think that with due time we'll be able to turn Mallory. But regardless, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with our prospect on the rise, another guy you got to see out there at the Northwest 7-on-7 state qualifier in McKinney 2024 inside linebacker Jonathan Agumadu.
There you go.
Did I get it? Boom. Jonathan Agumadu
Nice.
was named a DCTF 3-star following his performance out there at the 7-on-7 SQT. What did you see that you liked about Mr. Agumadu?
Well, first off, he's a guy who quickly passes the eyeball test. He is jacked, like totally jacked. What I really liked about him, because he came over from J.J. Pierce, move in from J.J. Pierce. He's rocked up, right? So he spent a lot of time playing with his hand in the dirt at J.J. Pierce. Got to see him in 7-on-7 action, actually patrol sideline to sideline, playing coverage some. He had 2 interceptions that I saw, and our friend Mike Roach said he had an interception in the game that I didn't see.
Wow.
So that was 3 interceptions in 3 pull play games, able to exert his dominance on that side of the football. And colleges have been loving what they've been seeing out of him, too, during the spring evaluation period. A lot of schools have been extending him offers. He's picked up 12 scholarship offers. He's picked up in-state offers from North Texas, SMU, and Texas State. Oklahoma State was his second P5 offer. Missouri was his first, but he's already scheduled an official visit to go see the Pokes up in Stillwater on June 14th. So I think that was like a needle-moving offer probably in his recruitment. All indications is that Oklahoma State's done a pretty good job early on. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. But a fast riser out at McKinney, a defense that also boasts linebacker Riley Pettijohn and athlete Mekhi Frazier, who's already committed to Oregon State, who will go over and play some linebacker as well when he's not playing running back. So this is a very talented linebacker unit in the Lone Star State. Maybe I would say in one of the top 1 through 3 linebacker units right now with the addition of Jonathan Agumadu.
Yeah, that's super interesting to hear that he's got great hands too and is able to pick the ball, because every single one of these highlights is him just absolutely obliterating through any sort of offensive line.
Yeah.
And so to have that, college coaches with that frame, knowing that he's able to have that explosive, especially just the explosion through the offensive line is crazy. But if you have good hands, he's going to blow up like crazy.
It's cool. It's cool to see too, all right, so you see him wearing number 9. He's playing on the defensive front. He's about 6'1", 6'2", 215, 220, something like that. But he looks bigger as a defensive lineman, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of those
optical illusions
almost. Like when you
almost.
stare at those puzzles online and you're like, can you see what? I can never see it. But when I look at Agumadu playing on the defensive front, he looks heftier than what he actually is. Maybe he shed some weight heading into McKinney to play, more of a stand-up role. Maybe that's something that's happened. But he can really move.
Well, it'll be a lot of fun to watch that entire 2024 McKinney Lions class. Moving on now to our commit of the week. How about this? The hometown kid, El Paso Pebble Hills 2024 quarterback Gail Ochoa has committed to UTEP.
Let's
and
go.
Let me tell you, after we've watched this guy play for a couple of years now, and you could always tell he was something special, not just for playing out there in El Paso, but just special altogether. And this is a massive get for Dana Dimmel and his UTEP Miners squad to keep the hometown quarterback there with the Miners.
He has a really long highlight tape. I think it's like 11 minutes when we start rolling it right here. So you may not get to see his elite athleticism because most of the tape is front-loaded with his throws. But I like what he brings to the passing game because he seems to make quick decisions where to go with the football. He has the overall athleticism to extend plays, make plays outside of the pocket. And I really feel like he is a good fit with the quarterback commitment they got from Bastrop last year, Seth Mauser, who was a big pocket-style quarterback. So with this class, they went with a guy who is vastly different, someone who, he rushed for close to 1,200 yards last year. So his athleticism is apparent, and he's a guy who can probably make that quarterback room a more well-rounded one. And I also think that he's athletic enough if the depth chart at quarterback didn't work out that he could play another position. But there's a whole lot to like if you're a UTEP fan getting a quarterback from the the hometown team, basically staying in the city, and has this level of talent. There's another kid out there in El Paso named Shea Smith, who is a quarterback linebacker recruit. And I think that they're probably the 2 top rated in the class of 2024 kids in El Paso. So this is a really big pickup for the Miners, as you said off the top.
Oh yeah, especially moving into that new look Conference USA, to the caliber of size of the recruits that are going into that new look Conference USA, being able to have a smaller but quarterback that is really able to use the scramble drill as an option will absolutely pay dividends for UTEP.
Passed for 1607, rushed for 1137, scored 31 total touchdowns. So he's like a well-balanced guy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Miners are looking for. It's This Week in Recruiting. We're here with our director of recruiting, Greg Powers, taking a look at some of the top prospects in the state. As we move on to our underclassmen of the week, we're heading down south to Fort Bend Marshall. Surprise, surprise, they have another recruit to keep an eye on. This one, 2025 cornerback Caleb Chester, 6'1", 170, and is closing in on the 20 offer mark as he dials in another one from Oregon, bringing his tally to 19 this week. What is making this Buffalo special?
Well, he's got the pedigree first and foremost. His brother Jacoby Chester is a defensive back at Sam Houston, and Caleb actually, I think, plays with a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder. He's a guy who's not afraid to come down and lay the wood from his cornerback spot. As a matter of fact, don't think he'd have any problem playing any of the positions in the secondary. He could play nickelback. He could play safety if need be. But I really like his size out on the island, 6'1", 170 pounds. He's got some really good offers coming his way. As a matter of fact, during the spring evaluation period, he added some in-state offers from SMU, Texas, and Texas A&M. Arkansas and Auburn also offered him this spring. So his list is really starting to take off. And when you have Texas and Texas A&M in state, I think that sends like everybody after you. Because if you get one, it's cool. But if you get both of them, that kind of signifies that everybody in the country might be coming your way. He dealt with a little bit of an injury issue last year, only played in 6 games. So as he's been able to prove that he's 100% healthy, that's why you've seen his offer list start to skyrocket. The talent has always been there. I'm almost certain, I have to look these things up because I forget, I'm almost certain he was a DCTF Rising top 25 freshman prospect.
That?
So, I mean, this is a guy who's been well known, and now his offer list is starting to reflect the talent that we all saw early on.
Well, and I love what you say about, Texas and Texas A&M both offering a kid. And this pays a lot of dividends because I know Fort Bend Marshall has a deep roster right now, kind of even down into the youth of that. So that's going to start getting eyes on those players really early as well with all of these different scouts coming in. So incredibly interested to see what Caleb Chester brings to the table. Finally, a household name at this point as we move on to our recruit of the week, as Willis 2024 quarterback DJ Lagway has officially accepted an invitation to the Under Armour All-America game and the Elite 11 finals, which is huge for any quarterback in the state of Texas. The Florida commit is a 4-star prospect, checking in at number 8 overall in the 2024 Rising Hot 100.
Yeah, I really like DJ Lagway. He's one of the state's best all-around athletes, and he just also happens to be a great quarterback. Right? Like, he can do a little bit of everything, very strong arm, very adept runner, and he had himself some kind of week. I'm sure this may have happened before, but I can't remember someone getting an Under Armour or accepting an Under Armour All-America game invite and getting named to the Elite 11 finals in the same week, and it happened on the same day, I think. Within 24 to 48 hours, DJ Lagway got both of those high honors, 2 of the most prestigious events for recruits.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really big. Texas has won the last 2 Elite 11 finals.
Yeah.
The MVP award has went to Jackson Arnold
and then Caleb Klubnik.
Yeah, Cade Klubnik. So Lagway, I think, heading into the event is the number 1 quarterback in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So if there were a chance to repeat that, maybe Lagway could make it 3 in a row. That'd be really cool. I definitely don't think one state may have never won back-to-back.
Right.
Maybe California back in the Mark Sanchez era. I'd have to verify it. There's a list out there or something. But I doubt that anybody's ever won 3. Any state's ever won 3 in a row.
3 in a row. No, and this is huge for Willis as a program too, because I feel like obviously Jackson Arnold, a really good quarterback coming out of Denton Guyer, not surprising. Cade Klubnik, a really good quarterback coming out of Austin Westlake. When have we ever heard of that? But I feel like DJ Lagway as an individual player has become kind of a household name, but I don't know still if this Willis program is one that you're looking at going, oh, they're absolutely making it to AT&T Stadium, so I feel like that would really pay dividends into getting some more eyeballs down there if you're not just a recruiting nerd.
I think Willis is probably, as far as upward trajectory is concerned with prospects, Willis is becoming like that stop.
Good.
Like they are starting to, stack up talent.
Mm-hmm.
Lagway has plenty of guys to throw the football to in that offense. They got the Jenkins kid that came over to play safety. Dejon Moore moved down to Houston from Allen. He's a 6'3", 305-pound. I'm telling you, Dejon Moore is going to be the next guy at Willis that could be like a top 10 in the state type of recruit. He is a monster. Just one of those pancake specialists. So I would say pancake spatula. Same thing. Same difference. Pancake specialist, pancake spatula. Dejon Moore's
There's
gonna
our
be a
next
dude.
trophy.
Yeah. But Willis and what Coach Miller has going on down there, it's going to be really exciting to watch because Willis is a team on the rise, and they're going to have a lot of prospects for me to follow over the next few cycles.
I was trying to think of a good transition, and I had it, and then you
didn't set
kept
you up very
talking.
well.
I know, no, I had it, and then you kept talking, and I was so interested in what you were saying. Our pancake spatula here at DCTF. He is Greg Powers, our DCTF Director of Recruiting. You can follow him at GPowersScout on Twitter. See all his fine work on TexasFootball.com. Powers, stick around because we're going to have you introduce our next segment.
For you, I will.
See,
Not for
usually
Tepper.
Tepper has to hold him here and force him to stay, but for us, he likes to hang out.
Yeah.
We'll hang.
Why wouldn't you?
We'll
You
hang.
love us.
Well, we'll hang out with Greg Powers again in just a second. We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon talking football in the Lone Star State. We hope that you will become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. You can do that at texasfootball.com/subscribe. A year's worth of online content. We've got podcasts like crazy. Thousands of games on TexanLive.com. And, of course, the staple of Dave Campbell's are 3 magazines. The summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, the winter recruiting magazine, and then now, newly in the subscription package, Dave Campbell's Texas Basketball. We want to remind you that the cover reveal for the 64th edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football will be Monday, June 5th, right here on this very program. Please join us as we reveal the main and gatefold cover of the 2023 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Before we do that, let's hear a word from our friends at VCR Now. Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. All right, Powers, you were out at the Justin Northwest 7-on-7 state qualifying tournament and saw something that you really liked over there and had a conversation with him. Who was that?
Byron Nelson qualified for the state tournament
Nice.
in College
Beat South Lake
Station.
Carroll.
Yep,
Wow.
beat South Lake Carroll
Big
in
win
the
for them.
qualifying round. Well, that's a huge district matchup.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are the top
Yeah,
two
that's
teams in
right.
the district. Both have a lot of talent coming back. Have to have some holes to fill, but the Byron Nelson defensive secondary is not a question mark. David Kabongo leads a group that also, has Jonathan Cabella, Ashton Williams, a couple of 2025 guys to put on the radar as well over there. But Kabongo has some exciting news because he announced the top 5 of Indiana, Kansas, Oklahoma State, SMU, and UTSA, and he plans to announce his commitment on June 12th. So this is all relevant recruiting information for fans of some of those programs in the mix.
That is awesome. Well, here after talking to Powers about his top 5 is Byron Nelson, defensive back David Kabongo.
Greg Powers, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and I'm out here at Byron Nelson High School. Just had the spring great game. David Kabongo, one of the top recruited guys in the state, recently came out with his top 5. But before we get into all that recruiting stuff, I want to talk to you about what's been going on here with the Bobcats. How did spring go? How's the team looking?
The team's looking real great. We're not having much of a drop-off on offense, and I feel like the defense is getting 10 times stronger. We had a couple guys move in from Caldwell Heritage, so they came in and filled in some of the spots that we were missing. But overall, I feel like we had a great spring.
Looked like you had it working at quarterback too. You last Jake Wilson from last year. Offense was moving.
Yes, sir. A little bit, yeah. But for the spring game, we had to shut them down just a little bit. But yeah, no, we won't have much of a drop-off though on offense, especially at quarterback.
Well, when you have that many DBs with D1 offers, I mean, the offense should move a little bit sluggish. That's just the way it is. Talk about your own personal development. How do you feel like you've improved as a player? I've seen you out at multiple camps, seen you at the spring game. You've been moving all around the secondary.
Yes, sir. I feel like I've developed a lot more, my eye discipline, my technique, just overall being better at DB, I started playing DB a couple years ago, and I feel like I've definitely progressed a whole lot.
You recently named your top 5. Before I ask you specifically about some of those schools, what was it in general that helped those schools make the cut?
Just the communication and the relationships that I have with those schools. They've been talking to me a whole lot. The relationships has been great, and the atmosphere around the school, visiting the school as well, has been great. The facilities are great, so that's a big thing about those schools.
I want to break it down into categories because you got 3 P5 schools that are in the mix and then 2 non-P5 schools in the Lone Star State that are in the mix. I'm going to start a little bit further from home. Indiana in the Big Ten. The Big Ten seems like a conference that has really made waves in the college football world. What is it about the Hoosiers that keeps them in the mix and can potentially land David Kabongo?
Just the culture they have at IU. They have this quota. It's called Leo. It's called Love Each Other, and I feel like Tom Allen and all the whole coaching staff, Matt Guerreri, they've been harping on that. Getting that information out to me. And making me feel like a potential place that I can go to.
Kansas is a school that seems to be getting a lot of momentum right now on the recruiting trail and in college football in general. Really interesting offense and a very aggressive defense last year. What is it about the Jayhawks? Just the DC Brian Boylan. I like how he thinks. I like how they run their defense. A lot of their schemes fit my style of play. So I feel like it's a potential school I could end up at. A little bit closer to home, Stillwater does a really good job recruiting Texas, the DFW area in particular. Seem to send players to the league. What's Oklahoma State got to do to get a commitment from you?
Just keep talking to me, keep the relationship strong. As of now, it's looking real good because they also fit my style of play, and I trust the coaching stability they've had there. Gundy's been there for this will be going on his 20th year, so I don't want to worry about getting into the portal. I want to worry about going to the school and locking in and playing there.
We mentioned the 3 P5 schools. There's 2 in-state schools that have a shot at you. What are the chances, or what would it be about SMU or UTSA if you were to pick one of those schools?
Both of those schools are in Texas, and everything's bigger in Texas. So the SMU is closer to home, real close to home. It's like right here, and then UTSA is not too far from home. So yeah, it's Texas ball. So
what can't you live without? I always say this when I'm asking this question. I got to have a Chick-fil-A. Like Chick-fil-A close to campus. I don't think I could live without a Chick-fil-A being around. Sweet tea. I'm a chicken nuggets guy. But I know that's not what you're looking at whenever it's time for you to pick a college. What do you got to have? Relationship with the coaches, culture fit? What is it?
Both of those things for sure. Relationships are the most important because if you can't have a relationship, you can't have a home somewhere. You have to go somewhere knowing you're comfortable with the people around you. So that's the main thing.
Looking for the right fit. That's David Kabongo, one of the top defensive players in the state of Texas, man. Thanks for the time and good luck as you navigate through that process. And, of course, good luck with your senior season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
There he is, Byron Nelson, defensive back David Kabongo. And, man, that's – if 7-on-7 was any indication of it, that game between South Lake Carroll and Byron Nelson is going to be just as amped up as you would hope that it would be this year.
Yeah, I'm excited about that game. And how about David Kabongo? What a well-spoken student athlete over there at Byron Nelson. Their coach, Coach Pride, does a tremendous job with that program, and I'll be interested to see where he ends up playing his college football.
Yeah, if you're looking for an interview with Coach Pride too, Matt Stepp caught up with Coach Pride at the exact same SQT this past weekend. So you can go to youtube.com/Dave Campbell's TF and see all of Stepp's coaches' interviews from there, along with Powers and Carter getting some recruit interviews. So the DCTF team was out in full force out there.
Yeah, we were grinding out at the Northwest at 7-on-7. A lot of content coming from there, and we're looking forward to doing some more this year leading up to the state championship, College Station, June 22nd through 24th.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll see everybody there too.
It's coming.
Super excited. State 7-on-7 right around the corner. Well, now we head on over to Mallory Hartley for America's favorite segment, second favorite segment behind Math Tuesday. Final thoughts.
We'll do another programming note because things have changed. Tomorrow we're gonna have a live commitment in studio.
We're not. Maybe we're still. We're waiting on that one.
Possibly. Sorry. Possibly. At 2 p.m. tomorrow, we're going to do WTF. We're not doing it at noon.
Yes.
Probably, because I know that for sure. We're going to do that at noon. Or not doing it at noon. We're going to do it at 2. But yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
Sorry, Powers.
So tomorrow, yeah, we should be going live at 2 for WTF. Don't hold us to that. We have a very important meeting that we have to go to tomorrow, which is why we will not be doing a noon show, because the only time that worked out for everybody was during the noon hour. So no noon show tomorrow, but we should be doing WTF live from 2 unless something goes crazy wrong with the meeting. We're not anticipating it, but it's the off season, and sorry, this meeting is very important, so we need to get that done. But should be back for WTF tomorrow at 2 right here on wherever you're watching it. If by chance we are not able to make it back, we will be posting that on our Twitter to give you a heads up. But we hope you will come join Mallory Hartley and I on Women Talking Football, 2:00 p.m. tomorrow. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF, and of course, see all of our work at TexasFootball.com. And state softball tournament going on right now on NFHS, and big weekend of high school baseball regional playoffs happening on TexanLive.com. So stay tuned all weekend long. Thanks again to David Kabongo from Byron Nelson for being our guest. For Greg Powers, Mallory Hartley, I'm Ashley Pickle. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. It's right beside Powers. You can visit with Powers, too. We will see you tomorrow at 2 on Women Talking Football.